All right, moving to Tennessee Q&A. Here we go. Hello, you guys, welcome back. If you missed it, you're gonna wanna go back and watch my last video, which was surprise that we're moving to Tennessee. We are leaving Idaho. We are moving outside of Nashville and renovating a house, and basically just lots of changes coming with that. And this video is just a Q&A kind of about more of the background of how all this is happening and everything that's been going on. So if you missed it, go back and watch that video first. It'll give you a little bit more insight into what's going on, and then jump back over to this one. But yeah, like I said, today I just wanted to do a Q&A. A few days ago, I posted on my Instagram and got some questions from you guys about the whole move to Tennessee and just how all this has been happening and some of the background of everything that's gone into it and just all the things about our move basically. So wanted to go through the questions and answer them for you guys and just give you guys a little bit more insight into all of those things. So let's jump on in. So number one, I'm just gonna jump right into this one because I'm sure this is the number one question that everyone is wondering. And it is, what made you guys want to move from Idaho to Tennessee? So like I said in my last video, there were obviously so many factors that went into this decision. For starters, I feel like, to be completely honest, we had a little bit of a tough experience in Idaho, and my husband especially with work and everything like that, that I'm not gonna like super go into detail on, but I feel like had a unique experience in Idaho. I know so many people and I had so many friends there that moved to Idaho from out of state and they have had no issues at all. So I do feel like our experience was a little bit extreme in that regard. But basically, we just had kind of a crappy experience in some regards of it, and we started praying about it, like I said in my last video a while back, and we just started feeling a shift, and we felt like God was directing us to Tennessee, which was the other place that we considered moving before we moved to Idaho. So in some ways I kind of feel, well, really in a lot of ways, I feel like looking at it now, this was all part of, you know, the bigger picture, and we just didn't know about it at the time. But yeah, we're super excited about it. Like I said, again, in my last video a little bit, I mentioned it a little bit, but a lot of my husband's work is in the South. Both of our families are from the South. We went out there in like the fall last year, and we both just loved it. We felt so at home there. It felt good to be there. And yeah, there was, I don't know, like I said, there was a lot of factors that went into it, and ultimately it was just a lot of praying and giving it all up to God, and timelines and everything like that did not go as we hoped or as we planned for, but this is where it ultimately led us, and we're super excited. Okay, the second question is, what are you most excited about for living in Nashville? I don't know if I said it directly, but we actually bought a house right outside of Nashville. We're like 10 to 15 minutes out in the country on outside West Nashville, and we love it. We're super excited, and I can't wait to share more about all of those sorts of things. But Nashville wise, we love it there so much. We were just out there a few weeks ago. We're gonna go back in another few weeks to start working on our house, or keep working on our house, and just spend some more time out there. But I don't know, everything is just really, really awesome there. The weather we love. I know that it's humid and hot in the summer, but after the longest winter ever that we just had in Idaho, it is so nice to have some nice weather. Me and my husband moved from Vegas, a lot of you know, before we moved to Idaho, and we hated the weather here. It's just dry and hot all the time. So being somewhere where there's more seasons like there is in Idaho, but also not like a crazy winter or a crazy long summer, is so appealing to us. We're so excited for that. The landscape around Nashville is just gorgeous. I mean, pretty much all over the South it's gorgeous, but just green everywhere you look. It just is unreal, and it's so beautiful. The food is amazing. People are so nice. I'm gonna make another video on this in probably a few weeks. But you always hear about Southern hospitality, and I feel like you probably wonder if it's a real thing, and it is 1000% a real thing. It is just so nice to be around people that are all so friendly and courteous and polite, and everyone is yes sir, no ma'am, like just the nicest people on earth. It is so nice to be around, and honestly, housing is pretty affordable out there. We're super excited because we were able to buy a decent amount of land and just have our own little space out in the country, which is something that we really wanted to do in Idaho, but honestly, we couldn't afford what we wanted out there. So to be in a place where we can have that, and we're gonna be renovating a house again, which coming from a brand new construction house, we're super excited for, because our last house before this last house that we had, we renovated, and it was just so special to us, and we put so much love and work and time into it. So we're just excited to get back to all of that, and we love Tennessee. It feels so good to be there. Okay, third question was, how was the house buying process for you? It was really good. The market, I feel like the market everywhere is starting to heat up a little bit, but in general, sellers are still being a little bit more flexible in terms of buyer terms and being more willing to negotiate and everything like that. So the home buying process was super smooth for us. Like I said in my last video, I'm already licensed in Tennessee. I got licensed as soon as we fully decided that that's where we were gonna move. And so I was able to buy the house for us. Like, I represented me and my husband as the realtor, which was super nice. One, because it just, it's nice to be able to represent yourselves and to go through that process yourselves, I feel like, especially being a realtor when it's my job. But also, little fun fact, if you didn't know, when you're a realtor and you represent yourself, at least like as the buyer's agent, the sellers still pay you a commission. So we were able to have my commission credited toward our closing costs, and that took, a big chunk of expense off of that. So that was super nice. But yeah, other than that, we had a pretty seamless process. The house is older. It was built in 1979. And I'm going to be sharing a lot more about that and like the renovation process and everything like that. But there was obviously some things that were wrong with it, and the sellers were super kind and willing to work with us on it, and we were able to get credits for some of the major items that needed to be fixed and everything like that, which was awesome. Oh, and one thing that I didn't mention also is that we bought the house sight unseen, which I'm sure sounds crazy to a lot of people. We actually bought our house in Idaho sight unseen too, but it was a little bit different because it was a brand new construction house. So we did it again because we're crazy. And then we actually didn't see it in person until after closing, when we had already bought it. So that was a fun experience. Okay, question 4, this kind of ties into the last one, but it's, how's the new house? I love our new house so much, and I'll pop up some pictures and stuff here because I know I'm crazy for this because it's rough, you guys. We know it's rough. Like I said, it was built in 1979. It's a split level house, which is crazy because my husband and I don't even like split level houses, but for some reason we just love this house, this dumb house, so much. But it's really good. We were out there a few weeks ago starting to work on the renovation, obviously tearing out like floors and stuff like that because it still had the original shag carpet that it was built with. We started tearing out a wall in the kitchen. We tore out the entire kitchen, and then we're gonna go out there in the next few weeks to start putting in our new flooring, to start replacing the cabinets, taking down the popcorn ceilings and repainting and all the stuff like that before we start doing the smaller projects. But we just love this house. We're so excited to have a house that we're renovating again, and that's just gonna be ours. And not only that, but we were able to get almost 3 acres, which is such a dream for us. We've been wanting that so badly for the last few years, and we're so excited to just have space where we can get chickens again, and to have a huge garden, and to just be kind of out like in nature more, and to raise our kids out there. I don't know, it's perfect. We're super excited about it. Okay, number 5 is, how does the food compare between Idaho and Tennessee? Honestly, there's not really comparison, I feel like. Like I've said in some of my videos about Idaho, this was a pet peeve of mine because I love food. I love going out to eat, and my husband and I love going out to try new places and everything like that. And that was kind of lacking in Idaho. There was obviously some good restaurants that we found, and those were kind of our like normal spots. But in general, Idaho's not really a food scene, which is fine. I mean, we like to cook a lot too, so it wasn't like a huge deal to us, but it's really nice to be somewhere again where I feel like food is just such a big part of the culture. Obviously in the South, like Southern cooking is a huge thing. And basically everywhere you go has good food and people just take pride in it, and it's such a cultural thing. So it's really nice to be somewhere where people just love food again, and there's really good food everywhere you go. I think we're on question 6, and it was, how's the weather there in Tennessee? I honestly really like it. Obviously we haven't lived through an entire summer there yet, and I know that the humidity and the heat is tough, but I feel like we kind of went from one extreme, moving from Vegas, which has the longest, hottest summers on earth, which I hated, and then going to Idaho, which especially this past winter felt like the longest, coldest winter on earth. And it just got really, really old, and we were completely over it by the time that we moved, which was like right as winter ended. So we haven't been in Tennessee long, like I said in my last video. I don't think I mentioned it in this one, but we are actually back in Vegas right now for a little bit, staying with family. One, because I am pregnant and we want some help with our second baby when she's born, and our son. And also just because we're renovating our house, so we want to get some major projects done before we move in with a toddler and a newborn again. But yeah, so we're just kind of going back and forth between here and Tennessee for the time being while we work on the house. We haven't spent a ton of time in Tennessee yet. We're gonna go out there, like I said, at the end of the month for a few weeks again, just to work on everything and be there. But yeah, the weather has been super nice while we have been there. It's been like around the 80s lately. It rains more in Tennessee, which my husband and I both love the rain and like thunderstorms and everything like that. So it's really cool being somewhere that has that pretty frequently. And I actually really, really like the humidity so far. Like I said, it hasn't gotten crazy hot there yet and humid, but in Idaho and in Vegas, my skin is just like constantly dry and cracked, and it's super painful. And so being in the humidity is really nice to not have to constantly be putting on lotion and chapstick 24/7. Okay, and then last question, I think this is 7, and it is, are you sad to leave Idaho? Yeah, I'm definitely sad in some ways. I feel like I'm kind of past it now because it's been a few weeks since we actually sold our house and moved. But it was definitely bittersweet. I mean, there was a lot of things that we loved about Idaho, even though there was also a lot of things that we didn't love. But I mean, we had started to make some amazing friends there, and we did really like our house. I'm gonna talk more about this in another video, but I mean, we had a new construction house, so it wasn't special to us in the way that I feel like other houses have been. But I mean, we moved into that house when my son was like 2 months old, and he's 2 now. So I feel like the majority of his life has been in that house, and he's grown up in that house. And so just all the memories of like raising our family there so far, that was kind of sad to leave. And yeah, I mean, we loved like the landscape of Idaho. It's very different than Tennessee, but it is beautiful. And my husband loves like hunting and fishing. And I feel like for that kind of a thing, even though that is in the South, you really can't beat like Idaho, Montana hunting and fishing. So that aspect is kind of sad to leave. And we're also moving a lot farther away from our family than we were in Idaho. So that's kind of a tough thing about it. But yeah, I feel like ultimately the saddest part about leaving is just the memories. I am a super, super sentimental person. So that was the toughest thing for me. But now that we've been out to Tennessee and we've been working on our house, and it's out in the open now and I can finally talk about it. I feel like I'm kind of past the sadness and now I'm just excited for like this next chapter. But yeah, it's definitely bittersweet, like all big milestones in life are, I feel like. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. I hope that was interesting and just gave you more insight into everything that's been going on and everything that's been leading to this. If you guys have any questions on all of this, feel free to drop them below. As always, any questions at all, send me an email, connect with me on social media, call me, text me, whatever you want to do. I'm always happy to help you guys out. I am now licensed in Idaho and in Tennessee, so if you have any questions on the home buying, home selling process in either of those places, or want more information about moving to either of those places, let me know, because I have a decent perspective on both now. So yeah, until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.